through. So thinking, okay, actually, I mean, the statistics are people apply and apply and apply and apply and don't get in. The statistics for sort of ethnic minorities is even slightly worse, and you don't see many sort of doctors from ethnic minorities, but that's changing. That is changing, and people are getting better, more people are getting to universities and going to med school. But I was kind of remembering, first of all, why am I applying to med school? Why am I here? Why do I want to do this? Is this for me? It was about preparing myself. It was about going back and looking at, okay, what am I missing? What do they want that I don't have? So during that period when I didn't get the offer, I went back. I did lots of research. So I went to America to do presentations. I set up fundraising groups. I did lots of research. I did all the extra things that would make me a standout candidate, and that's the difference. So that when people meet you, once they read about you, they're intrigued. And I think now, even by coming to this conference, shows that you're different. Shows that you've got that one extra step. You want to learn. You want to lead. You want to be excellent in your field. And it's by looking for opportunities. So for me, it was kind of they were looking for somebody who's going to organise sort of a kidney research, because in Nigeria, lots of people have sort of kidney disease, for example, and we're looking for someone to spearhead that project. And I put myself forward and said, actually, I want to do that. I think I can do it. I was quite young, actually, but that didn't stop me. I used that setback, I used that sort of disappointment to my advantage, took some time out, looked at what they wanted, and I reapplied, and I was flooded with offers the following year. But that's what it takes. It's about using those setbacks, using those sort of shortcomings to make yourself better. You need to surround yourself, obviously, with family. Some people it's faith, some people it's friends, some people it's family. But you need something apart from yourself. People who are can-do, people who are positive, people who have passion. And I think, obviously, you probably have friends, you have people here who are like you. So you've had a knockback. You know, it's fine. Pick yourself, dust yourself up, and you try again. And I think, apart from the passion that drives you, you need to surround yourselves with good people who are positive, people who are motivated. If you have a good core of networks of achievers around you, it's that sort of friendly competition. It's that sort of pushing yourself to do better, speaking about the challenges that we face. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have a little bit of a down moment, but it's not okay to stay down. You have to stand up, you have to get up, and you have to try again. And eventually you will succeed. It's about trying again, and you'll get there. Okay?
Okay, so one question, please. Okay, so the question is, how do you remain motivated and inspired despite obstacles and setbacks?
Okay. Actually, I have a very similar university experience to you. I remember when I was applying, like doing my UCAS applications, applying to do English actually, and I wasn't sure where to apply. I didn't really have much confidence at that time, so I wasn't really sure. Like I was getting my list together. I had some really good universities on the list, and I remember going to like my university like careers advisor and like giving him the list, and him being like, "Oh, I don't think you're gonna make it. I wouldn't bother if I was you," kind of thing. And I was like, okay. That's good then. Like I really like when people tell me those kind of things. Like it's actually fun for me. Like for you to tell me that I can't do something, because when I come back to you later, then we'll obviously have a conversation. And we did have a conversation. Like when I came back after my first year of uni, I was like, oh, I always knew you were gonna make it. I always knew you were gonna make it. And that really showed me that you can't listen to what people say, because for him that was an offhand comment. Like you probably didn't remember he said that, but for me that stuck with me and it still sticks with me now. For me, like as I said, I'm actually relentless and I'm very single-minded in what I want to do. If I want to, I can see my friend laughing because she knows this about me. I'm very single-minded, so if I say, and I don't like going back on my word either. So if I say I'm going to do something and I set my mind to something, then best believe I'm going to do it. And if there are setbacks, that's fine. You can just go an alternative route. So at the moment now, I've got a job at a firm called Linklaters. So it's a law firm, international, and I'm really grateful to have that opportunity. And it is a great firm, but it wasn't always like that for me. So I remember when I was in first year, and I wanted to have like some law experience. So there's different like law like mini vacation schemes that you can do to get like your foot in the door. And it's a thing where if you get these first year schemes, then the next year it's easier for you to apply because you already got that experience. And I remember I didn't get any, and I was just shocked because all my friends had them, and you know they were all in their firms doing great things. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, my dream's gone then, because if I'm not in it from now, then next year it's even harder for me basically. And I sat there, and as you said, I was upset for about a day. You know, I slept on it, and the next day I woke up and I was like, okay, we can't actually do this. Like, I never go to sleep in that mindset and allow myself to wake up in the same mindset. I leave it in that day. I'll feel straight for myself for one evening or one day, and the next day is a new day. So the next day I remember, like, I knew I couldn't get any of the international law firms to like have me, but I just started walking around like my local high street. So I live in Croydon, and you know they have like you have your high street firms, and they do kind of domestic law, so like family law, immigration law. So I just walked into one of them, and I was just like chatting, friendly, kind of telling them what I wanted to do. And I managed just to get a week there, no, like 2 weeks there, which wasn't amazing. So while all my friends were in the city, I was just there in Croydon, like in my local area, still walking like to work and back kind of thing. But I just used that as a learning opportunity to learn as much as I could. And when it came to actually having interviews the following year at the international firms, I just spun that in a mad way. Like I just spun it in any way I could to like really show how much I learned, and it showed my hunger. And I remember in my feedback for my interviews, they said like, we really liked how hungry you were. We didn't accept you the first year round, but you actually went out there and you said, I love law, I want to practice law, so even if you don't give me a position, I'll try and practice it somewhere else or learn about it somewhere else. And I think it actually worked in my favour. So whilst I originally thought it was a setback, it was actually an advantage to me, because when it came the next year, when I was saying I was having these interviews at the bigger firms, and they were saying, okay, but how do you know you want to do corporate law? I could tell them, I know I want to do corporate international law because I've done the other type of law and I don't like it. Like your other applicants, they've only done this, so they can't tell you like the other types of law that they can practice or why this is a good fit for them over something else. Like I've done different things, so I can actually tell you in tangible terms what I've done and why I want to do this now. And that worked out really good for me. Like, so I was really blessed to have that opportunity. And I think it's just about being adaptable and always finding a different route to where you want to be. As I said, if you've got that vision there, you've got that goal there, and you know you're going to make it, to me it's not an if, it's just a when. So for me it's just speeding up what I know is already going to happen kind of thing. So it's fun. Like, you just find a way to do what you have. It's not even what you want to do, what you have to do. This is you. This is what you are. This is what you were born to be. So yeah, just find alternative routes to where you need to go, and just spin things in the best ways that you can. Make the most of every opportunity that you have. Even when I was at that domestic law firm, the small one, in Croydon, a lot of the solicitors that were there were telling me, oh yeah, we used to want to be like you, we wanted to work at magic circle firms, but we're here because it's too difficult, especially being a black woman. There was another black woman there, and there was another black man as well, and they were saying, you know, you've applied but no one gets the positions, so you know, don't get ahead of yourself. Again, that's nice, like that's nice. And we had our little conversation over lunch. I go back to my desk, you go back to yours. A year later, when you want me to pop in, I'll tell you that. Thank you for that conversation, that actually inspired me. But shouldn't be talking to people like that. Don't tell people what their limits are and, you know, where they can go, and trying to kind of compensate for what you feel was a disservice to you by putting somebody else back, especially a younger black woman. Bring her up and tell her she can achieve whatever she wants to achieve. But no, they were surprised, but I feel like they learned from that. And I know they had another intern there at that time, and I feel like she was grateful for that as well. I sat and talked with her for a little bit. But yeah, like, you can just achieve anything you want to achieve, honestly, and no one can tell you anything. You just have to be single-minded. Like, only you know what you can do. And people can say the most offhand comments and not realise how much that actually affects people. Just, you know, stay true to your vision, basically. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give.
Great.
I feel like after that we can all just go home now. I think we're done. Like, we've got all the inspiration we need. Sorry, again, the question. I've got really bad memory. Sorry, Victoria. What was the question?
The question is, how do you remain motivated and inspired despite obstacles or setbacks?
Okay. I think for me personally is, as I kind of mentioned before, keep focused on what motivates you. So I always tell this story when people kind of ask me why I started what I do, how I started and building my brand, etc., as in my own brand. And I always tell this one story. So one day, my little sister, who wants to go into acting, she's amazing, and I'm not just saying that because she's my sister, but she's genuinely amazing. She was basically like lead role in all the plays, like every single year, 5 years in a row, she was lead role. And even one day my mum asked one of the teachers and said, why do you keep giving her the lead role? Like, give other people a chance. And the teacher literally said, it's because she's the best. And there's nothing else that we can do. She is the best, so we're gonna keep giving her the lead role. Now, one day my sister got the opportunity to go to a drama school, an amazing drama school, like one of those West End kids schools that you hear about. And basically you have to pay for it. And I come from a very working class, low income background. I'm very proud to say it because that's not where I'm gonna stay. I will be wealthy one day and I will be able to buy my mum a house and a car and everything she deserves. So for me, I'm very proud of where I come from because it's made me who I am. It's made me resilient and strong and passionate and, like you said, hungry to get to where I want to get to. So yeah, I come from a very working class, low income background, and essentially they gave my sister this opportunity and we had to turn it down because we couldn't afford it. But they loved my sister so much to the point where they were like, listen, we'll even give you a discount. We'll discount her, like, you know, her fees for each year. We'll give you a significant discount and just let her come. We still couldn't even afford the discount. So for me, I remember my mum telling me and my sister telling me, and I remember looking at my sister, my little sister, who was broken, who was heartbroken because this is her dream. This is what she wanted to do, and something like money got in the way. For me, that was my motivation. I said, never again do I want my siblings or my mum to feel like we want to do something but we can't afford it. I don't want ever to have children and for them to be like that. I want to give my children everything that I couldn't have or I had to work really, really hard to have. You know, for myself, for example, like I said, low income background. So I started working from 15 years old. I have been hustling, guys. Let me tell you now. I have done every job you could possibly ever imagine. Literally, I've done waitressing, bartending. I've worked in God knows wherever. I've worked everywhere. Done whatever I had to do in order to make money. And one thing that I said is that, you know what, I don't want my kids to have to go through that. I don't want my kids to have to suffer or to have to think twice. Obviously, I don't want to spoil my children, but I also do want to spoil my children because I feel like, why not? You deserve it. If I can afford it, why not? So that's one story as to why, what keeps me motivated is just remembering my family and remembering my mum and my sisters and saying, do you know what? I want you guys to have more. Like I said, I will buy my mum that house. I will buy my mum that car. And that keeps me going every single day. So I would say to you, if you have a dream and you have a goal and something that you want to do, find something that really, really motivates you. It might be your mum, it might be your siblings, it might be whatever it is. That one thing that gets you up in the morning to keep going, to keep pushing. That one thing that even when you've gone through all the stresses and you keep failing and failing and failing and failing and failing some more, you still say, do you know what, I'm going to get up and keep going. Have that one focus. Another thing I would say that motivates me is kind of similar to what you were saying. This idea that I laugh when people doubt me, because I've had times in my life where people have doubted me, but I don't doubt myself. So hey, you know, what now? But for example, when I was applying for Cambridge, there were quite a few people that doubted me when I was applying to go there. You know, black girls from East London barely ever go to Cambridge, or black girls East London went to just a normal, not very good at the time, rubbish state school. Barely any, like I knew anyway, went to Cambridge, and people doubted that I would make it. People doubted that I could get in there, and yeah, I just had loads of people around me basically doubting my ability and doubting where I could be and where I could go. And again, that was motivation for me to keep going and to keep moving forward. So for me personally, I would say to each and every one of you, again, just like your family, etc., let that be your motivation. You know, you've heard from these beautiful ladies here that we've all had setbacks, we've all been through difficulties, we've all been through struggles and, you know, so many, you know, horrible things happening as well. But don't let that stop you from getting to where you want to get to. Let that be your focus, your drive, your motivation, that one thing that keeps you moving forward. Honestly, that will be, I think, the one thing that will save you and make you different from everybody else. Because you will come across people who will be like, yeah, I want to do this, I'm motivated to do this. But then one setback, do you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not for me. Do you know what, maybe a different, you know, something different. Nah, don't be that person. Let that be your motivation and let that keep pushing you.
Nice. So running a little bit
We're talking too much. Sorry, guys.
I think definitely some of the stuff we've already said resonates with me as well. My life doesn't really mean anything without my family. And so really, like, I do things for my family when I'm down, I think about them, and that kind of picks me back up. And also kind of similar story with Oxford and Cambridge, right? So when I applied for Oxford as well, people are like laughing at me like, why are you doing that? I said, Oxford, why are you applying there? And Oxford was actually the only place I applied for my master's degree, because I was like, this is where I want to go.
Yeah.
But, but again, the money was a problem. I'm like, shit, how am I gonna pay for this? And fortunately, I was able to, I got in. I was so excited, because until you get in, like, that's all I'm thinking about. Please, please, let me get in, And once you get in, you're like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to go. So I started just trying to like hustle as well, going up to like businesses and being like, I'm about to go to Oxford, and if you support me, I can like do some work for you. I went to like Rotary clubs and telling them like, what about we do this deal and you give me some scholarship and I'll help you do some of this stuff on the side, or when I come back I can work for you briefly, blah blah blah. And I was so stressed out because it was nearing like the decision time for me to tell them that I'm gonna go, but I had no money yet. So one day after doing all this, I was so exhausted. I had such a bad stomach ache from like so much stress and like anxiety. And then I get a letter from Oxford saying they're gonna give me a full scholarship. But the thing is, I don't think I would have gotten it if I didn't try though. And I think I just feel so grateful that because I have put in so much effort, because setback after setback, people rejecting me, rejection after rejection, but I didn't stop, I kept going. And I think that was, really important, kind of keeping your eye to the prize and just going for it. And there's like, I'll just finish real quick with this strategy that I use. I try to do these 3 R's. One is recover, replan, and realize. So recover is about recovering, because sometimes when things are down, it's so hard to get out of it, right? You're like, I'm such a failure, this world sucks, nobody's here for me, God, where are you? Like, why aren't you responding to my prayers, right? But what's wrong with you, man? Like, I'm talking to you, listen to me and make this happen. And then but I try to recover and reach out to people who support me. And they kind of make me feel better. They're like, they butter you up, they're like, you've done well so far, your family or close friends or supporters. And that's really cathartic also to kind of express your feelings and so on. And I try to think about inspiration quotes like MLK Jr.'s quote, which is always on my work screen. So it's like, if you cannot fly, then run. If you cannot run, then walk. If you cannot walk, then crawl. But no matter what you do, you gotta keep moving. And that's what I gotta look at every day when I feel like I'm so down. And then the next thing is replan. So you gotta re-strategize. Okay, these obstacles came about. Okay, what am I gonna do? But then just kind of try to, after you recover and feel better, be like, okay, this is where I want to go. Reflect on it. And then these are the obstacles. And look at my resources. How can I get there with my resources and what I got? And then the last one is realize. Realize your goals. Realize your plan. Execute it and deliver it. So yeah, this was really useful for me, and especially about 2 months ago or so, I was going in a really deep down, kind of like depression-ish, because everything, sometimes when bad things happen, they all happen at the same time, right? Like, why? Come on. So I learned that my dad was really ill through my cousin who messaged me on Facebook, and she's like, why are you not coming home? He's sick. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's got cancer. I'm like, what? I didn't know this. Why is nobody telling me this? And then the real reality of money and how are we gonna do this. And then I learned that my brother was in a lawsuit. I was like, what? And this is gonna cost us a lot of money. And then I learned that a friend, a mentor that I respected, she committed suicide. So she's an incredible woman. She went to law school, top notch and all that, and she did some investigative work on corruption in Africa. And those companies were just bombarding her with lawsuits after lawsuits, and she just got drowned in all these lawsuits and met some bad boyfriends, and then she just couldn't handle it anymore. And all of that happened in 2 weeks. And I was like, this sucks. And honestly, it took me a full month to recover. But I think you gotta, when you have your support and friends, remember whenever you're down there, like, there's always somebody for you, and there's always gonna be light in the end. But you keep trying.
For a quick 10 minutes break. And yeah, so make sure you use our Snapchat filter, make sure you talk to somebody new. Yeah, so back in 10 minutes.
it's somehow hard to get, but I'm not going to do it. I feel like when I come back, so I just want to see people look up and so we would. Yeah, I think I might get it. But my testimony is a bit, you know, I like to come to terms with something myself before you allow it. Especially because some people I like to so many because they was forgetting that you need to share that knowledge to and I feel like if I don't give them, you won't get the message so I want to spit it out, but I was like, I ain't gonna do that. That girl's gonna do that. Why? And then when I saw like you were crying, like, this is pain right now, I was like, oh, and I really felt like it was hard because like, and this is
If you want anything,
I know when you're trying to do that. Hashtag boycott Macau as well. My people
I'm gonna get views.
do you know what? If we actually put such a song, you know the billionaires. Like 3 years after put up a blog. That's it.